Hey, all right. We are live here. Hey, Ty, how you doing?
Hey, good, good. How are you, Cindy?
I'm wonderful. Good to be here today. Happy Saturday to you, to everybody else that's watching here now or watching the replay. Great morning, great afternoon, beautiful sisters, wherever you are. Welcome to our Her Fibroid virtual community meetup. We are so grateful that you guys have decided to come by and check out what we're doing here. We're grateful that you are watching the replay. And this is it's exciting, Ty, because whether the ladies are just beginning their fibroid journey or if they have been on the journey for a while, they're in the middle of it. If they're finding their way towards a healing journey and solutions like you and I know very well. Know, ladies, that you are not alone. This space was designed especially for you and you and you and you and you. You too. It's a safe place for us to come together. Okay. We come together, we learn, we grow, we uplift one another. So today, we wanted to just deal with connection. And we were going to have a real detailed discussion, but we'll maybe save that. We want to talk about breaking the silence, but we'll kind of save that. But Ty and I are going to talk openly about our experiences, our challenges that we faced, and the practices that we know that are helping us to heal, to continue healing. And this is not just about fibroids, but it's about reclaiming your wholeness as a whole woman. So, listen with love. Before we begin and get into it, just a couple of general guidelines. Ladies, we want to, listen with love, no judgment. This is a very safe space. We want you to come in and share your heart, share your experiences as you feel led in this community. And remember, your story has power. Every single story has power, no matter where you are in the journey, what you've experienced, surgery, no surgery, you're if you're afraid, if you just kind of in the thick of it, we want you to feel safe. This is exactly what another sister needs to hear. Your story is exactly what someone else needs to hear. So let's go ahead and get started. Ty, you want me to kick it over to you? Introduce yourself. Oh, I guess I should have introduced myself. Start. Hey, everybody, I'm Cindy Goodson, aka the Fibroid Alchemist, the author of Lady Stop Thinking, Start Shrinking, a 10-step guide to shrink your body and your fibroids fast, and also the author of Beyond Medicine, a faith-based approach to healing fibroids. I've been working in this space of wholeness and healing for about a decade now, close to it. And my personal journey started probably in high school when I was not able to go to school on the first day of my period. But I fast forward to the thick of it, and where I was, faced with 9 uterine fibroids. Wow. So I was full. That was 9 that they could actually identify. And so who knows how many were actually in there. But after dealing with it for about 12 years, I was the woman with the issue of blood that y'all read about in the scripture. That was me. And I literally needed to touch the hem of his garment. But yeah, I went through the absolute worst of it. Had the whole bleeding episodes, the hemorrhaging. I was hemorrhaging for most of those 12 years, up until the time when I bled for 45 days straight. And my hemoglobin, my blood count dropped down to a 2.9, and I found myself in critical ICU. Now, prior to that, I was on the roller coaster. Sorry about that. Prior to that, I was on the roller coaster. I should have put in my do not disturb on. But just real quickly, the roller coaster, the ups and the downs, the pain, the depression, the mental fog, the anemia, the big clots, the you name it, being bedridden. I was the one who you might see in the leaving an event, getting out of my chair and leaving a trail of blood, leaving stains in the seats, and just bleeding through everything, to the point where I would just lie in bed some days and just lay on a towel and just let my body pour out blood as long as it needed to, because I didn't know what to do, how to stop it. I was depressed, distraught, broken, scared, desperate, just you name it. And right before I was about to make an appointment to try to have a surgery, I got a call and from my cousin who was looking to me for for some for some help with a health condition for her daughter who had juvenile diabetes and was looking for some because I was always the health nut that everybody would come to, but I couldn't even heal my own self of fibroids. And so she asked me, "Hey, have you considered a naturopathic, a natural approach?" I was like, and my mind, I wanted to say, "Of course, I'm the health nut. Of course I have." But had I really? No, because I was so just desperate and out of wits. So when she suggested that, I immediately started looking for holistic approaches, got connected with a few doctors, some herbalists, things like that. And my story literally changed when I got very radical about my healing. I couldn't afford a surgery, first of all. I really wanted to have one at that point because my life revolved around my period. I would bleed for 3 weeks, have 1 week to recover, only to start bleeding again. And so that's not a quality of life. And I couldn't work. I couldn't hold a job. And so it was a really bad season for me. It was a really dark decade. And going through the different approaches that I was learning, I came across, was introduced to Dr. Baxter Montgomery, rest in peace, rest in power. He was a medical doctor, MD, board certified cardiologist, who taught me, did an internship with him. He taught me the biochemical reactions to food. And it's when I started getting the wisdom from both him, Tahuti Matra, my herbalist. I learned all about food and how food reacts in the body and other things, other toxins. And so started learning about what the fibroids really were and got the understanding that they're internal trash bags. And Ty, you know my story but as well as I do. So I just went on that radical, crazy journey of, changed my diet. I went raw vegan. And people say, "Are you a vegan?" No, but most of my food is okay. But that really did make some changes. I had went on a very deep, thorough detox, a very extensive detox and cleanse, and I did that for a couple of years. After doing it just for a few months, however, I was able to reverse all of the symptoms, not just one, but all of the symptoms. I started getting, my blood was building back up. The anemia got better. My strength came back. And, I just literally just stayed on that journey and the fibroids dissolved for me. They dissolved and I was able to get my life back. And so I just started coaching. I was documenting. Back then, I didn't even know why I was taking pictures of my big belly looking like I was 7 months pregnant, 7.5, 8 months pregnant. Every time I go out of the house, ladies, y'all, some of y'all understand. They ask you, "When is your baby due?" "Oh, you're pregnant." "No, I ain't pregnant. These are fibroids." And it was so embarrassing that I just didn't even want to go out. I couldn't find clothes that fit that belly. So I just didn't have a life. But yeah, so with the detoxing, with the cleansing, with the meditations, I just stayed with that thing and it just really turned around for me. And it worked for me and it still works for me. The fibroids, but now I tell you, when I go off the grid, they do start to grow back. So this is why it becomes a lifestyle. This is why it has become a lifestyle for me, and I cleanse regularly. And so that's my story in a nutshell. So now I teach and coach and help and advocate in this space. I'm partnered here with Ty, my sister from another mister. We linked up back in 2015, 16, 17, 18, somewhere in there, and 18, and started doing this work together. And so I'm so appreciative of you and the work that you do, Ty. And we just want to really build this community and this collective to offer everything that we possibly can to affect change, to really teach and coach and help and empower and inspire. So with that, that's my story, most of it anyway. Ty, I'm gonna turn it over to you because they need to hear your story and your journey as well. Queen Ty, y'all.
I appreciate that, Queen Cindy. And the ladies that are watching the replay, this is her wellness nonprofit. So we provide resources, we provide a safe space. We also, do speaking engagement. We do our 5K walk. So we are here to create that community, and we want you to be a part of that community as well. And we all have stories, and it's good to get it out and share your story so you don't feel alone, like Cindy said. For me, my story started in 2013. That's when I found out I had fibroids, because I had to go to the emergency room because I couldn't walk. I was cramping so bad. My mom had to rush me to the emergency room, and the doctor did x-rays and everything like that, then come back and he said, oh, you just have a fibroid flare up. I'm like, what is a fibroid flare up? Did he explain? Absolutely not. So he prescribed me tramadol. So I took that. It was too much for me. I couldn't see, like I was trying to walk. My vision was blurry, everything. And my grandfather had to take me to the hospital. And so they had to cut it down. But I was like, no, nah, I'm not taking this. So I stopped taking the medication. I wasn't on the holistic journey at that time. I was still, doing me. I didn't really look into it until 2018, where I was like, I want to get really serious about what this is and why do I have this? Where did it come from? Like, that's the stage I was in 2018. When you start seeking and looking, your teacher will show up. Cindy showed up. Dr. Fisher showed up, and they're all in the holistic realm. And I was not in the holistic realm. I was still eating chicken. I was still eating turkey. But in 2018, when I met Cindy, she was like, you got to do a radical change. So I stopped eating chicken. I stopped eating turkey. I stopped eating all those meats. In the 6th grade, I had stopped eating beef and pork anyway. Um, so 2018, that's when the holistic journey started. My belly has never protruded or anything like that. So you would never have known that I have fibroids. But when it came that time of the month, I was in the bed, I was laying down. I wouldn't wear white at all. So, I know the struggle. I was popping ibuprofen like Skittles. We know, that wrecks your liver, your kidneys, and, it takes a toll on your body. So, you have to change the way that you're doing things to get, success. So I did change some things. I did go raw, like Cindy said. I did see some improvement in my cycle. I wasn't bleeding for like 7 days. It cut down to like 5 days. I changed the type of pads that I was using. So, using those big commercial pads with all the chlorine, dioxide, bleach in, that also contributes to the bleeding, and it also contributes to the wound conditions that we're experiencing. So I did all the basic changes as well. And my period, it was 5 days, but 1.5 days was really, really heavy. And I'm like, I wasn't even worried about it because I'm like, my cycle comes regularly. I'm good. It's only like 4 or 5 days, but not realizing that I need to go have something, get it actually checked out. And so I did that, and it was just like a whole new world opened up for me, because now at this point, 2022, we're trying to, conceive and going through fertility treatment, or starting the process. Right when we were getting ready to start the process, a fibroid moved into the cavity of my uterus. So the fertility doctor was like, you need to have surgery. You need to go see your gynecologist. So I went, and I was so distraught. I was so hurt. I was like, for me, I was against surgery. Like, don't have surgery. You should never get a surgery. I was just like, never, never, never. And when I talked to the doctor, she was really, really, really good. She listened. She even drew a diagram and showed me, the pictures of, where the fibroids. She suggested a great doctor for me to go to. And she told me there's 2 options. You can do an open myomectomy or a robotic myomectomy. I didn't know what the difference was until I started looking it up, my husband and I. And so we decided to go with a robotic myomectomy, and that is like less downtime, and the incisions are smaller, so it's not like you're having a C-section. So it's more expensive. I didn't even know how much it cost going in. I was working at the time, the insurance was great, so I just did it, not knowing that it was over $200,000 when I looked at the bill. Like going in, I'm just clueless. I'm like, look, let's just do this. Let's just get this done. And then looking at the bill, wow, $200,000. The remaining of that, what I had to pay was not that much, probably like a couple 4,000, 5,000, or something like that. But what I did was I got financial assistance, and all I did was send in my tax um, for that year, and I sent in my ID and what bills I wanted covered, and it was covered. So I actually didn't come out of pocket I only came out of pocket for like the MRI and the ultrasound and things like that, your co-payments. And that's what I came out of pocket. The reason why I got the assistance because I went to a panel, a fibroid panel that I sit on every year, and the financial advisor said you can get assistance from the hospital. And so I started looking into it, and I applied, and thank God, everything was paid for. And so
Wow.
that was a blessing in itself to
Oh
be
yeah.
able to get that paid for. And so after the surgery, it took me, the doctor was like, it'll take you 6 weeks to heal. It didn't take me 6 weeks. It took me like 6 months. It was like half of the year for me to really get back on my feet and walk around and be able to do the things I used to do. Because before that, you have to have a pillow. You can't do too much moving, strain. Like you can't even wash dishes. You're not even supposed to bend down. None of that. I couldn't even sit down, let alone I had to lay down. So imagine going through this for 6 months. That's just how my body healed.
Yeah.
Everybody else heals differently. That's just my experience. And then they had me on all types of pills. Like, why am I taking this pill for seizures? Why am I taking this for this? And I had a friend, Nikki, who had the surgery, and she's a nurse. So she came over, she checked on me, and she was like, why are you taking all this? So she was like, don't take all this. Plus, I couldn't take it. It was making me throw up. Like every time I took anything, I just threw up because I don't even take medication. I don't take prescription. Everything was all natural. So my body was rejecting it. The only thing I did take was Tylenol. That was the only thing that I was taking throughout the process to heal. So taking Tylenol, I was good. But I just had to take it so many times a day, which I didn't like as well. But I had to stay on that journey so I can heal. And throughout that, I created a community because I didn't know what to expect afterwards. I didn't know what to expect going in. So just being out and about and going to meetings or events, meeting women who had surgery or who were post surgery, I would call them and ask, hey, is this supposed to feel this way? Or, should I be taking this? Should I not take this? So I have my own little community that I can call, and that's what we're creating here. That made it so much better for me to continue through that process because I had women that I can just call and say, hey, something don't seem right. What's going on? Like, because it was so mind-boggling for me that when I look at my stomach, they had to go through my belly button. So they went through my belly button as well. It's two slits at the top, one on each side of like my belly button, then one on the right side below my belly button. So that's where they took out the fibroids and they were whole. And there were 17 fibroids instead of 3 fibroids all these years. All these years, the doctors, oh, there's 3 fibroids, and they will only show 3 on the paperwork that you get, yeah, afterwards. And it's only showing 3. The doctor said you had 17, and my husband was able to take a picture, and so I have that photo. One of them was so big it looked like a shrimp. It was like, I don't know, I couldn't even explain. I don't even want to look at the picture, but it was
You say a
it
shrimp, girl.
was so
That
weird.
sounds
Like,
nothing. A shrimp.
I'm like, and that was inside. Like, it
Wow.
wasn't protruding. There was no protruding. I'm like, this was inside. It was so crazy.
Carrying all that around. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And not even knowing, the size or how many, just thinking, oh, I have 3. That's why my cycles are 5 days. And I just have one a day have bleeding. But that was leading to iron deficiency. I wasn't even thinking about iron, and so for me to go ahead and have surgery, God had to send me down and say, go ahead and do this surgery. Because if I wouldn't have had the surgery, I wouldn't have known I had 17 fibroids. And
Right.
would I have a successful pregnancy if we continued the IUI for fertility? You know? So I'm grateful for the surgery. So if you are deciding to have the surgery, do the surgery. But after the post, you have to continue to do the work so they don't come back. And sometimes they don't come back. I met women where fibroids never came back after surgery, or like Cindy said, after they dissolved them. Okay, so there is hope out there.
Yeah.
But you have to continue, you have to do the work. If you haven't done the work prior to, then you want to do the work of making sure you're doing your detox, making sure you're drinking your juices, making sure you're doing pelvic exercise. Because it's kind of like having, it's like having a baby, but it's not like having a baby. But you got to get your uterus back in shape, because I felt like my uterus was just gonna fall out if I didn't, wear the what do you call those?
The
The
garment,
the garment to hold it in. So
yeah.
that's how it felt at times. And you have to continue. Like 6 months, okay, I wasn't really doing it because I didn't want to put any strain, but every day I'm trying to stay consistent to doing, pelvic exercises, making sure that I'm building my core back up. You have to build your core back up, because
Yeah.
if you don't, it's going to feel weak. You're going to feel different things going on. So definitely building your core back up. And right now I'm at the point where it's time for some babies. Like the fertility doctor, I had to do a 90-day detox. I had to
Yeah.
get my iron up. I had to get, my hormones in order. And so after that, I went back. Everything was good except my B6, and I needed copper. So that's where I am right now.
Mhm.
Then we'll go back again and see where we are. Hubby is also on a plan so we
Mhm.
can get them little means faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we are continue on that journey. I am 45. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm 45. But guess what? It's all about how your body is, how you take care of your body. So don't let age interfere of, you want to still continue to create your family. Don't let the Western side put that fear out there, saying that you're a geriatric. In other countries, women are having babies at 50. So
Yep.
don't
Yep.
worry about it. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So that's my story. And right now, like my cycles, they have gotten back to the regimen of being, 4 or 5 days.
Mhm.
Before it was like, okay, what's my cycle doing? Because the surgery, you gotta get back accumulated. Your body hormones have to get back,
Get back regulated. Mhm.
regulated. Yeah. So my cycles are on time, which is good. The cramps, barely cramps. But I am taking magnesium. You got to take those things, these supplements to, keep your uterus, keep your reproductive system, in harmony. And so you don't have more fibroids come. Because a lot of women, they go have, for me, I see a lot of women having my open myomectomy, and the fibroids are coming back, another surgery, coming back, another
Back
surgery.
surgeries. Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, so you're opening yourself up again, and there's more adhesion that's happening. There's they're not getting all the fibroids. If it's a good doctor, they're gonna get all the fibroids. If they say, "Oh, we're just gonna leave these in," that's not a doctor that you want to have, because you want to get all the fibroids out, no matter how small they are, how big they are, wherever they are. A good doctor will get them all out, just like how my doctor did. No matter where they were, intramural, submucosal, wherever they are, the doctor should be able to get them out for you. So just make sure you talk to a great doctor that has a good record of getting the fibroids out whole. And that's my story I want to share.
You shared so many things, and I just and I'm not taking notes, but I should have. But there's a couple of things I wanted to point out. The one you talked about, the taking care of your core, taking care of your uterus, taking care of your body. And first of all, let me go back up. You are absolutely glowing. I know. I've seen your skin lots of seasons, but I don't know, you got a very, I mean, this glow, I don't know if you've been to the Caribbean or something, but that's what it
Mhm.
looks like. So yeah, you're definitely glowing. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
But the thing I want to point on, Ty, you know, we talk about handling the body, you know, after surgery. This is the surgery is traumatic to the uterus. It's a so your uterus is going through just like having a baby. There's trauma there, and I don't make it sound bad, like oh my God, the trauma like monstrous, but it's a traumatic experience for your uterus, and therefore it's like you said, like you as if you've had a baby. We don't just have a baby and then just go back, you know, to dropping it like it's hot the next day. Like that's not how the body works. You therefore that, you know, really treating it, you know, like you said, taking care, wearing the compression garment, making sure you're holding your area, that uterus up right and letting it heal because some things have taken place. The body's intelligence with another thing I want to point out is that the reason is, and we won't get so far into it until we get into our next sessions, but the reason that the body is growing these fibroids, ladies, is because the body thinks that there's a baby in there. The uterus is designed to grow babies and to nourish babies. So when you think about why, why my uterus and not my elbow, right? Why fibroids there? Well, you think about the uterus is fertile, and women who are fertile are the ones who are getting the lion's share of these tumors. And when they are growing in and around the uterus, the body's intelligence knows that there's something there, and it thinks that it needs to feed it to grow it. But guess what? What is it feeding? So it's robbing all of the nutrients out of the body. That's why we become anemic. That's why we're weak. That's why we're turning pale. And I was white. Every part of my body that was supposed to be pink was snow white. My eyelids, my hands, it was just white because my body was absorbing the fibroids was absorbing everything. So imagine if what we're putting in is toxic, foods, toxic, and we're in the environment of a toxic environment, like you mentioned, pads that are dipped in bleach. We're not drinking bleach. We don't sprinkle bleach flakes on our food. So why would we put it in our vagina? Those toxins leach on to the receptors in the uterus, and they're mimicking estrogen, xenoestrogens, which is toxic, and we talk about this all the time. And therefore, it causes all types of dis-ease, and it disrupts our endocrine system. Like it's just really toxic. So we definitely encourage this. One of the things that we do in our organizations, we are advocating and raising funds and awareness so that we can be able to support women and young girls with clean, non-toxic, you know, menstrual need
Pads
pads,
and panties.
pads
Cotton
and
panties.
panties. And we definitely, while I'm on that note, we definitely do not recommend using the tampons, the tampons that are dipped in bleach. You're putting that, sticking that inside of your vagina, and it's just spraying all those toxins all around your uterus. So it's not a good thing. And not only that, when you pull the tampon out, you're pulling on your uterus. You're pulling on the edifice of where your child will be born, will be carried, and that toxin, it's very damaging to the uterine wall. So just you know, word of wisdom on that. I forgot to mention, you talked about the doctor's Ty. There were 7 different doctors that I went to looking for some remedies, just anything other than surgery. You know, we would talk, no surgery, no surgery, no surgery. And I did not want to have a surgery, but all of a sudden I'm talking, my only option was a hysterectomy. They never said myomectomy. One doctor said, well, I can go in and try to remove the fibroids only, but if I get in there and I realize I can't, you know, it's a you know, dead dog, and you know, hunting, what do you call it, beating a dead dog or whatever that saying is, then I'm just going to go ahead and take the whole uterus. So I'm supposed to sign a waiver that we're with the understanding that we're going to do a myomectomy, but if she goes in, they're just going to do the whole full hysterectomy. That is, ladies, y'all hear me very well, that's a scare tactic. You need to have the wisdom of Ty, like when, you know, who's on the journey already, seeing results already, but there was an extenuating circumstance that she had to have that surgery. And that's the wisdom. But don't just let the doctors tell you the first appointment you go in there and you have an ultrasound, you got fibroids, and they go right right to surgery or right to hysterectomy, or try to bamboozle you with the line, well, are you planning on having any more kids? Because I was definitely not having more kids, but I didn't want to get rid of my uterus. I need my uterus, right? So they, if you don't have any more kids, you don't need your uterus. The devil is a lie. I do need my uterus. So that is what, we want to save the womb, babies. We want to save the womb. And by any means necessary. And, as radical as we have to be. So, with that being said, I just wanted to share just those nuggets because it's so important to know, to be able to ask the right questions, know which questions to ask. And that's another reason why we have this community. We want to help ladies know what questions to ask. Because Ty, had you known that they would have told you the truth about, it may take you 6 weeks, it may take you 6 months, but they left that part blank. And so that is we want to make sure that they have the full story, whichever route they're taking.
Yeah, and there is no post-care protocol after having a surgery besides you'll heal in 6 weeks and to wear the compression garment. They don't say you need to make sure you build your core back up. You need to do, drink your teas to, build your uterus back up to make it healthy, or drink,
Or take the herbs that nourish.
Yeah, they don't tell you all that. So that's, I guess that's my calling as well, is to be able to help on that journey and give you the guidance after post-surgery.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that journey as well, and the fertility journey too. So it's great things that we're doing here in Her Womb Wellness community. So I would love for you to be a part. Go to herwombwellness.org and join our newsletter. All you have to do is put your first name, last name, email, and you'll be a part of the community. You'll be able to receive updates on different events that we have. And just like we have this once a month, you'll be able to, stay in tune on what we have going on in this nonprofit.
Do we have the links for the books on the website yet?
No.
Okay, so let's get those on there too, because those, the book, it's research-based, evidence-based protocols and resources and information and knowledge and experience. My lived experience is not just something that we heard, y'all. We have lived this, okay? So, and we got receipts. We got some receipts in this space. And so, and I also want to mention, Ty, that I will be reopening the Fibroid Healing Academy in the fall, hopefully in the next 2 months. But we'll keep everybody posted. And will we be coming back to have another meetup? Or are we going to do an in-person in Houston? Or are we going to do another virtual next month?
It'll be another virtual.
Okay, for September. Okay, all right, good. So everybody can just stay tuned for those dates and times. What else was there anything else that we wanted to cover today in this meet?
I know you had some questions. Like if you want to just say the questions that you have, so when
let them be thinking about it,
they could be thinking about those questions. I think that would be good.
Oh yeah. So our theme for today is we're breaking the silence, and that's what I did when I came out. I told y'all that I was taking pictures of my stomach all along the way, like it was big. I was just up there, and then as it was shrinking, and I would just keep the documentation. So that was my coming out. My way to come out was breaking my silence and sharing my story. So some of our guiding questions would be, sharing your story. When did you first learn about the fibroids? When did you first learn that you had them, and how did it make you feel when the doctor, said you have uterine fibroids? I know for me, I was like, what is that? It was 1998. I had one pea-sized fibroid, and the doctor just said, well, we'll just wait and watch. Don't worry about it. And like Ty said, no, you need to be concerned, even if it's a pea-size, because you want to get proactive about the pea-sized fibroid, because one little pea-sized fibroid turned into 9 big fibroids, one upwards like 8 to 10 centimeters. So that's the size of a big fruit, right? And you carrying that around, that's a lot. That's that impacts your entire lifestyle. So what are the challenges and lessons You know, what has been the biggest challenge for you on this journey so far? And what have you learned about yourself through it? What have you learned about yourself, Ty, on through this journey?
I mean, I am resilient, very resilient and resourceful.
Mhm.
And, I listen to my body. Like, okay, the doctor is telling me this, or I'm listening to this other person. No, what is my body telling me? What am I experiencing?
Yes, listen to your body, ladies. Listen, symptoms and pain and heavy bleeding and anemia and mental fog. Your body is screaming. Your body is trying to tell you to pay attention and to come in and, help me. The womb is crying out. One of my coaches, former coaches, said use the term tears of blood, right? Tears of blood. The womb is crying out. So we have to pay attention. You can't, it's not, we've normalized these symptoms and therefore we just deal with it, especially as Black women. Like we deal with everything. We just keep it moving. We plug it up, keep it on, take some pills, and get back to boots on the ground and hitting the pavement. No, it's a time for you to chill and reflect and recalibrate and rest. And so one another thing I want to point out is what we're doing in our organization is we want to affect change when it comes to legislation. What would it look like, ladies, if we could be, have 5 days off during our cycle or get some stipends to pay for the number of, especially women with fibroids, they have to go get a second job just to pay for the pads. It's expensive. So we want to hear your voice. We need your voices to partner up with us. So healing practices, what natural remedies, what lifestyle shifts or faith practices have helped you the most thus far? We talked about, Ty shared with you how she made the shift, lifestyle shift, lifestyle changes. It is a lifestyle, and it's not just for 90 days. We don't just talk about, because 90 days is going to be over, and then what, you're going to go right back to the garbage can and go right back to the symptoms. That was me. I was yo-yoing. I would feel a little better and go back to the crap, go back to the garbage can, and go and what happened? Be back in the hospital getting some blood transfusion because I've hemorrhaged. So
I think that's what for me, being on the journey and trying the holistic way. I think I was like in and out. Okay, let me eat a little bit of this. Okay, let me do this. And I didn't really do like the cleanses, the parasite cleanse, the detox cleanse. I didn't really, really do that. But I was like, okay, I'm not eating this. I'm not eating this. So why aren't the fibroids shrinking? Why are they not? Why are they not going away? Because they were the size of a golf ball. That's the size, the 3 that I was supposedly to only have, but come to find out I was 17.
Wow. I mean, yeah, knowing, we have to know what we're dealing with. And then the community and support. If you could tell another woman, ladies, if you could tell another woman who's just beginning her fibroid journey, one piece of encouragement, what would it be? Ty, what's one thing that you would encourage if you had, well, you do, you got the platform here. So what's one thing that you want to share for, if you could tell another woman who's just getting started on the journey? She has no knowledge, she doesn't know anything. Doctors has just determined that she has fibroids.
I would say just keep seeking, keep praying, keep asking God to guide you to a better alternative. Don't just stick with and feel scared that you have to have, a hysterectomy, because that's what they're going to say. You have to have a hysterectomy, or let me put you on hormones, or let me do this. Holistic alternative modalities are amazing. They actually work. It didn't work for me because I wasn't really working it. So that's just my truth. As I look back, I wasn't really working it like I should have. But hearing all the stories of other women who have actually shrunk their fibroids naturally, like Cindy, and so other women that I have talked to, it works. So don't just rely on medication from your doctor. Also seek alternatives.
That's excellent. I'm a dovetail on that because understand that Western medicine is not designed to heal or to correct. It's designed, the practice, and we love our Western medical doctors. I broke my leg in 3 places last November. I needed surgery. I'm so glad that I had a Western medical doctor to do that. I'm not sure how well, taking some herbs would have put my bones back together. So I had to have a rod and some screws. Okay, there's a place for that. But when it comes to your body and healing and correcting something, you have to go back to the creator the one that created you knows how to heal you. And therefore, we have to get as much information as we can. You have to go into the doctor with knowing what questions to ask. Question them, because they're not trained to heal you. They're trained to treat your body with pills and knives. Okay, so if you're looking for an alternative to that, then you want to be able to tap in, like Ty said. I agree with you 100%. Tap into the holistic practitioners like ourselves, right? Who can kind of guide you, get a second, third, fourth, eighth opinion. Find a naturopathic doctor, and don't be afraid. God didn't give you a spirit of fear. All right. The spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. Your mind is sound, even if it's foggy right now because of anemia. It's just anemia. You are not losing your mind, baby. It's just anemia. When you get your iron back up, you'll feel like a genius again. So that would be my one piece of advice in 5 parts.
And I do want to leave this. So chronic condition, that's like over 30, 60 days, a year. So the doctors don't really have anything to help you with that. And that's what's going on with fibroid. That is a chronic condition. So all they have is prescriptions or surgery. Chronic conditions, you can actually reverse them because you have to get to the root of the problem. Once you get to the root, then you already know where to start from. And acute, that's something that can be fixed right away. So just knowing the two difference, you're gonna, be able to, assess and talk to the doctor like you know what you're talking about, like you've done your research. So just know, like the chronic, that's gonna take a longer time to reverse. And the doctors, not saying there's anything wrong with doctors, but they don't have the protocol because they don't take nutrition. They don't, like the blood panels. I will say this, the blood panels that they do take, they're the basic blood panels. They're not the actual blood panels that you need to see where your estrogens, there's more than one estrogen, where your levels are, your thyroid levels are. So you would have to ask them, I need a specialist to take this and this and this blood to see where my actual hormones are. So to see where the dominance and everything is coming from. So that's what we do. We give you this information, resources, because you need it. And that's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, the doctors are just not trained in that area. And it's okay, because there are other ways to tap into the information and the knowledge and be empowered. Okay. So we want to encourage everybody to advocate for themselves, stand up. You have a right. It's your birthright to be healed and whole. All right. With that, Ty, I'm so glad we were able to get together today and have this very important talk around fibroids, womb wellness. Herwombwellness.org is where you'll find us, where you find more information. You can also, if you want to get the books that I mentioned earlier, you can you can reach out to us through the website there, and we'll make sure that you have all of the resources that we have been able to tap into over the years. So we appreciate everybody for watching, for being here, and stay tuned for the next meetup next month.
Absolutely. Everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.